right, y'all. So we all know for day 32 that the defense was basically giving their closing statements. Now we're gonna work our way backwards here on this case because everybody done had their final say. They done had their closing statements, and the state has also came back with a rebuttal. So I'm gonna start with a rebuttal on this video, and then I'm gonna work my way backwards, and then I'll let you hear the closing arguments for the defense, and then I'll let you hear the closing arguments for the prosecution. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with the rebuttal to that foolish behind closing argument that Diddy $1 Million Team did for him. Like one of the viewers had said on a video I was on, homeboy said, they must have ran out of money. Diddy must have ran out of money with this closing statement because this is a mess, you know. Listening to various different attorneys and how they viewed the closing statements, and they all was like, for the majority of it, they was completely disappointed in what they heard. Like, you could have did better than that, bro. Almost to me, after I heard it, it almost seemed like they just sent that man up the river without a paddle. I mean, I told y'all the only thing he got left is to say his lawyers was incompetent, and then they didn't represent him the correct way. And boy, I don't know if Mr. Sarcastic was just trying to showboat himself when he was reading off that his final closing. But baby, you didn't do him you didn't. You know, he had the theatrics of it all, trying to hold it, trying to make jokes and stuff. But I don't know if he didn't go over these jokes with people because them jokes just wasn't hitting, you know. And he left himself open for a crazy rebuttal. And so that's what we're getting ready to read, because baby, everything he asked in his closing statements where there was a question as if you didn't understand what your client was here for. They went ahead and pointed it out. I mean, straight, concise, and to the point. So we're going to go ahead and read this. Okay, so the judge go, you heard that Mr. Combs was targeted, that he is not to be considered. That is not your concern, Mrs. Comey. Now, it is between Mr. Comey, which is Mrs. Comey, which is the prosecution for the state, for the federal crime, not the state crime. So let's not get that confused. But Mr. Comey, Mrs. Comey, why I want to call this lady Mrs. Comey. Okay, so here we go. The defendant did not take no for an answer, and certainly not from his girlfriends. He beat them. They suggested he didn't pay for X, that there was no enterprise, and that the witness lied. But he flew workers across the country to have X with Cassie and Jane, while he masturbated, and we were saying it wrong intentionally. It was not for their pleasure. It was for, X. So remember Daniel Phillips? He said he got paid for X. When he had the performance issues, he stopped getting paid. So you don't do what you need to do, sir, and them dollars ain't finna come out the way you need them to come out. So the Punisher, 500 with no X, thousands with X. I suspect you'll hear that uncalled witness was equally available to both sides. Maybe some of these men would have worked for free, having X in front of the masks, masturbating celebrity, but they got paid. The defendant is guilty of count 3 and 5. So if you was mistaken about what he wasn't guilty of, let's make this very clear to you. Count 3 and 5, guilty. An enterprise can have unlawful and lawful purposes. KK, unknown witnesses, are equally available to both sides. They did agree to at least 2. Yes. Quick hit, the kidnapping rated by Kid Cudi. He said he was forced to go along with them. Mr. Agofino said Mr. Combs is a fist guy. Sure, when it's his girlfriends. With men, he need pew pew. The London hotel he made Cassie go after he stomped on her face. She wasn't allowed to go home to her mom after a kidnapping. This is a kidnapping. Just in case you was unsure about what it was. The arson, somehow the glove fell off of someone's childlike hands. He said he wouldn't do it, and he did. Cassie said it, Eddie Garcia. He believed he could not go to the police under the agreement. And Combs said, watch out how you spend it. Bribery? This is a guy that cannot get his own water bottle or plug in his own phone charger. He's the general. He's delegates. KK knows the Wild King nights involve escorts. The only reason he needs thousands of dollars in hotel rooms is to pay escort. You know, the other name they call them is kind of like prostitutes. You know, the ones who flew out across the country. They only need two. Tina Coram, or KK as we know her, reads all of Combs' Texas, so she knew KK alone made Combs guilty to count one. So KK alone made Combs guilty to count one. Interesting. Drugs, Mr. Alafino talks about conspiracy to distribute. But giving drugs to Cassie and Jane in distribution, that is enough. Mr. Alafino claimed they wanted it. The defense theory is the Cassie wanted to be urinated on. That Cassie wanted to have sex with Anton after being beaten. And Maya wanted to be penetrated. That Cassie and Jane wanted to spend days in oil with UTIs, high heels, strange men. So Mia said no, Cassie said no, and on her 29th birthday, Jane said no. Before Anton, after being beat. These women have no reason to lie. The defense says it's for money, but Cassie already got paid. If Cassie was lying and already got paid, why would she take the chance of perjury in a federal trial? This is a woman standing up for what is right. Mia already settled in mediation. There's no reason for her to put on a show for you. There's absolutely no reason for her to put on a show for you. Jane, she doesn't even intend to sue. These women refuse to let trauma swallow up their whole lives. That struggle tells you these women told the truth. They broke free of the defendant's manipulation. Jealousy is not a defense to ex trafficking. Jane picking out Sabrel and Antoine was her way of taking back control. Yes, she texts escorts. Sometimes he told her. Sometimes she knew he would ask. She felt she had no choice. That is coercion. The defendant did hit Cassie doing freakouts. Freakouts? Now they're freakouts? Freakouts. Cassie said it. Daniel, Philip, told you. And it's on video that everybody watched. There's no separating the violence and the ex. Remember when Cassie OD'd Ed in a hotel room in Long Island, and they still had the offs. See, there's a lot of stuff we don't get to see, or we don't know if nobody ain't talking about it, or if they turned off so you didn't notice. But Cassie actually OD'd. Okay. When Jane performed oral X on Anton after Cone beat her, that was trafficking. You say the man named Mr. Aguilito said Cassie won a prize. What prize? X with the UTI? Getting urinated in the mouth? It's ridiculous. They had a trauma bond. They were trapped. The cost of trapping them was a drop in the bucket for Mr. Number One on the Forbes list. You wanna act like all your money is all that? They just called you out. They letting you know, they give you accolades, but you're going to prison. Okay. He pushed her to continue after she vomited. He knew she didn't want to. The Intercontinental, they claim he was intoxicated, that it was a phone. He knew what he was doing. He kicked her. She called security. So he stayed to keep control of her. And I want to be clear, because they called Antoine because he was the only repeat player in LA. They stopped with Cabral after he tried to extort Jane. Whatever words he used about a conspiracy between Jane and Antoine, there is no evidence for it. He coerced Cassie and Jane into this, and nothing happened. He Mia, and nothing happened. He beat Cassie, and nothing happened. He beat Cassie in a hotel on tape, then bribed the guards to buy it, and nothing happened. He was untouchable. He did not think these women would speak, and that Kid Cudi and Dante Nash and other men would back them up. The defendant is not a god. He stands equally before the law. Find him guilty. Judge, jury, you may leave until Monday. Okay, so basically what done happened, this is the last thing that they done heard. Okay, so the prosecution have given their closing statement, that foolish behind closing statement that Agafino gave, the defense lawyer gave, and then the state came back with, the feds came back with a rebuttal, because he left a lot of open-end questions as to put that doubt inside the jury head. And then what did the prosecution do? Well, they just closed it up for him and showed them crimes that his attorney act like he didn't commit, and presented to them on a platter. And that was it. So that's the last thing that these jurors are going to have on their minds until Monday. Now, Monday, when they come back, they will be given jury instructions as to what they have to look at far as the law. Now, some are saying that because the holiday, the 4th of July, runs next week, that they feel that that might be a problem when it comes to the deliberation. But by law, they are supposed to effectively go over this. Now, what they're saying, if they come back too quickly, we already know what's up. He guilty. Right? If they take a little bit of time, we're in suspense. But if they take way too long, we might be in trouble. Because they might be. The only thing now, because his lawyers have definitely failed him on that closing statement. And then you didn't even have no witnesses so they can hear the man's side. I mean, he guilty in my eyes, but you ain't even tried at this point. You got cocky. Well, he wanted people to think he was cocky. It was a strategy play, and it backfired big time. So the only thing now they're hoping for at this point is that all 12 jurors can agree to the charges. And they don't have to, what a lot of people think, they have to have multiple occasions. No, just simply one time. Just once. But that one time had to happen with 2 separate crimes. That's all. Okay? And then the judge can sentence him. And that's where I think he's going to put on a show with his flamboyant behind. Oh, let me hold on. I got some names for you. I got some names. Let me up out here. I'm not going to prison for the rest of my life. I'm old. And y'all, from what I hear, this man looks extremely bad. He don't look like the p.diddy that y'all are used to looking at on the thing. And not just simply because, you know, he's in jail and he can't get himself fixed up. They saying this man look like he is DATH in a suit. They say he about to check up out of here any day now. He ain't looking good at all. They said he looks like a very, very old man. He don't even look his age no more. He look like he done aged about 25 years, 30 years. Y'all, let's see how this ends. Let's see what's going to happen. We're going to wait on Monday. I'll try to give you up-to-date coverage as I get it. Whether I have to go live and do it live, we're going to give you up-to-date coverage, especially if they come back out of there too fast, you know. And some are trying to say because of the holiday, just might do that. Tech with this man, guilty, ain't got time for this, you know. Just go ahead and put him in jail. But they cannot really do that. They're not supposed to do that because if they found out that's what they did, they all in trouble. They're supposed to follow the letter of the law, follow the instructions, go through each thing. And matter of fact, I do believe that when it comes down to what they found him guilty on, they're going to have to pinpoint exactly what it was that they found him guilty on. They're going to have to give them an exact reason as to why they said that. So, go ahead, make your peace. So soak in your children. Because it's a wrap. You tormented these people for all these years. And it's an old saying, you reap what you sow. Eventually you're gonna have to pay the crimes for what you have done. You're gonna have to pay. And yours is not only money, but your time. And so you had the world by the palm of your hands and could have done anything. You could have helped the community out. You could have helped your fellow brothers out. You could have done so much. You could have built a legacy for your children, your grandchildren, and then their children. You were there. And because of your sick behaviors, because of your tormented mind, it is all perished. They say pride comes before the fall. And what is it for a man to gain the whole world, then turn around and just lose his soul? You have to be moral somewhere. Gotta be. As always, be your brothers and sisters' keeper. Keep God first. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, y'all. Toodles.